Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Time for a review, the new Girls LP. This is the third video I'm making about this California rock outfit, and the road to this album has been a little rocky for me. I'm still like completely head over heels for their debut album. It just kind of makes me want to take all of my money out of my bank account and then just fly to some island in the Caribbean and just see how long I can live there off of it. It just feels really warm. It's just filled with love. I just feel all this love pouring out of that album, and I love that. Now the EP that followed album, I didn't really care for. Long story short, I felt like the band had brought on all this new instrumentation, and the personality of Girls was drowning in that. It was a little colder, a little more kind of professional. I was hoping that this would not suffer from the same problems, and it doesn't completely. And even though I felt like, you know, he could have been a little bit higher, you know, just a little bit more out in front on the first track, Honey Bunny, it's nice to hear Girls playing something really warm and fun and upbeat and kind of innocent again. I love the pacing of that track too, with the bright background vocals and the surf guitar, and just the bass line to it reminds me of the Beach Boys doing a cover of Paul Simon's Kodachrome. Now one thing I like about album that continues on this LP is that it feels a lot like a mixtape. And sometimes Girls, with the different styles that they try out on their albums, just throw a surprising left hook. And the first one to come on this album is definitely the song Die. To me, that track just sounds like a classic piece of hard rock, heavy metal, stoner rock. There's just these really distorted guitar riffs. It's something that I could see coming out of a Black Sabbath album, or even like a Motorhead album before a Girls album. And though, you know, it's not the best take on the style that I've ever heard, Girls give this kind of stuff the proper amount of energy and force it deserves. And to me, because they did that track, they're just kind of at like another level of versatility for me now. But the Everly Brothers influence that made so many of the tracks on albums such heartbreakers is still present on this thing. It's strongest on the track How Can I Say I Love You. I think it's my favorite song on here. The lyrics are just so corny and mushy, but the song just has so much sincerity to it. It's hard not to take it seriously and just kind of fall in love with it. There are songs that feel even more sugary, like Magic, and maybe they get a little too sugary for me. These sugary moments on this album are matched with really depressing lows, like the first song to drop from this thing, Vomit. So not only are these guys, you know, really covering a stylistic spectrum, but an emotional one too, because, man, even with the heavenly background vocals kind of hitting the mix every once in a while, this thing just feels so dreary, especially when the guitar leads start like banging into each other really chaotically, and the distortion and the drums just come in really heavy. The production, the composition, the new instrumentation, Girls are definitely more ambitious on this release, even if I'm not really in love with every direction they move into. I think my least favorite moment on here has got to be Just a Song, which starts off pretty well. It's a nice tearjerker. I love the keyboards in the background as Chris is singing about the happiness being gone, but what happens at the end? The band like hits this bass line and this drum roll, and it just sounds like they've literally taken that moment where Chris is singing and that drum part and copied and pasted it in post-production again and again and again for 2 minutes straight. There are a couple moments where the soulful backup vocals that seep into some of these songs, I'm not totally into them. It sort of just feels like a style clash or a mood clash for me. Thankfully for me, the album ends kind of strong with Jamie Marie, like the spotlight is on Chris Owens and just his guitar. This track pretty much has everything that I feel like is missing from some of the previous songs. Everything that I loved about the songs on album. It's just got a simple build, but very complicated feelings. It's got this relatable personality. It's very sad, but it's very friendly. I don't love this thing as much as Album, but I do like it. I like it a lot. A lot of solid songs came out of this thing. I'm feeling a light to decent 7 on this, but what do you think of this thing? Are you loving it? Are you hating it? And if you are, why? And what do you think I should review next? Anthony Fantano, Girls, Album, Forever.